Hi everybody, this is Cheryl and this is the next episode of Prepping for Beginners. This time we are going to talk about water. Now, I'm going to tell you straight up front that I know very little about all the stuff that you have to watch out for, the bacterias and all that. And I certainly don't know enough about the filtering and the purification and all that. So I'm not going to go into any of that. For that, I suggest looking at other channels that have more information about that kind of stuff. What I'm going to talk about is just the basics of prepping water. Okay, now the general rule of thumb is 1 gallon of water per person per day. Now you also need to remember that you need to prep water for pets, for bathing, for cleaning, and for cooking. So, you want to kind of look at it in that sense and think, okay, well, how much am I going to need for those things? How much water does my pets drink? How much do I need to sponge bathe or to clean my dishes or, whatever? What are the people that you're prepping for? Are they adults? Are they children? Are they babies? You need to look at their needs, and adapt the amount of water you need for that and prep that per day. Okay, and you want to store up starting with 3 days of water, working up to 1 week, and then 2 weeks, and then 1 month, and then 2 months, and so on, so that you can have a good supply of water. Now you have to remember, water is very difficult to prep because it's heavy and it takes up a lot of space. So you need to be not only mindful of that and how much you realistically can store up and how much space you actually have, and what are the methods that you are able to store up water. You've got to be realistic about it. And if you can't store a whole lot of water, you need to find another means of being able to deal with the water issues. Now, there's a whole lot of videos out there. I am not even going to pretend to say, oh, go here and you'll get water. I'm not going to go into any of that because I don't feel like I know enough myself to be able to tell you. But I know there are a lot of good channels out there that do talk about it, telling you where to find water, what to watch for, how to purify it, how to filter it, all that kind of stuff. I just want, for my part, to say to you, hey, you need to be realistic about how much water you can store, how you can store it, and how much water you actually need. Be realistic about it. Now, there are various ways of storing water. You can do bottled water, like the little bottles of water you can buy. You can do the 1 gallon jugs of water. You can buy containers that will hold 5 or 7 gallons. Some of them are stackable. You can even buy as big a container as the 55-gallon drums or barrels. And again, there's a lot of channels out there that talk about this kind of stuff. The only warning I want to put out is don't store water in milk jugs. Milk leaches into the jug, and you cannot clean it well enough that would preserve your water safely. So, avoid milk jugs. Save those for something else. I have things that you can do with plastic milk jugs. But the actual water jugs, you can reuse those. Now, I also use my vinegar jugs. I use those. I use jugs that our oil comes in. And I even use the big plastic cat litter jugs. I just wash them out very well, and then I store water in it. Now, am I going to use this for drinking? No. I'm going to use this for cleaning, for bathing, that kind of thing. Can it be purified? Sure, it can be. There's methods of being able to purify that water and make sure that it is safe to drink. But that's the whole point, is you want to save your drinkable water in containers is food safe containers, and you want to make sure that it's drinkable. And if it's something that you need for bathing or cleaning or that kind of thing, then you can store it in these other containers. Don't waste your good jugs or your good water storage jugs for water that's not drinkable. Use that for, cleaning or bathing, things like that. Just make sure that your water is purified. You don't want to store bad water. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about purifying and filtering. Now, again, I'm no expert at it. I can't tell you the beginning of it. There's a lot of good channels out there that can, and I encourage you to go look them up, okay? Just be really careful about what you're listening to. Listen to more than one source. Research it. Really dig deep and make sure that what you're doing is correct, okay? This is important. You don't want to drink bad water. You drink bad water, guess what? You get sick. You get sick, you could die. Okay, so really, really be firm about researching how to make sure your water is drinkable, okay? Now, there's a variety of them out there on the purifiers and filters and all that's on the market. They have Life Straw. They have the Sawyer, the Berkey. You can get purification tablets. You can use bleach. You can boil it. There's a lot of different ways. You can even make your own filters. But look it up, okay? I encourage you to look it up. Now, the other things I want to touch on is you want to rotate your water, okay? You want to store it in a cool, dark place. Light actually will affect your water, the quality of your water. So you want to keep it in a cool, dark place. You want to make sure that your containers are sealed. And what I mean is you want to make sure that it's got a good solid lid on it. You don't want one that flips off and, if it gets knocked off, then you're out some water. Keep an inventory of your water. Water in jugs should be rotated out every 6 months, okay? And for the inventory, and I'm just going to show you a sample of how I do my inventory, okay? And this is how I do my inventory, and of course this is a fake one. I'm just showing you. But if you noticed, I have the date of when I put it into storage, of when I need to rotate it out, how much I stored, and where it's stored. And of course, like I said, this is all fake. I just wrote it up there so that you'd get an idea of how to do this. And then you write down, every time you add to it, you write that down. Now, to rotate it out and make it easier, now let's say that I store 50 gallons of water in my hallway, which 3 gallons did I store? Well, that's real easy. You can put a piece of tape. You can write on the jugs too, but I like to put tape on mine because I can then peel that tape off or put a new piece on or put another piece over the top of it. Just be careful that it's going to stick and not come off. Make sure that it's good solid on there, okay? And if you look there, 4, 15, 20. So this is one of the 3 jugs that by that date, I need to use that. So what do I do? How do I go about doing this? Well, what I do is every time I get a jug of an empty jug. Now, I use jugged water because I have a lily, a peace lily, that it's a tropical plant. It does not like my tap water. As soon as I put tap water in that thing, it starts turning brown and start dying. So I have to give it jugged water. I cannot give it my tap water. I've even tried filtering my water and using that, and it's not, still doesn't care much for it. There's too much chlorine in my tap water and too much lime. My turtle, I do not give my turtle tap water. My turtle gets jugged water. So every time I finish up a jug that I use for my plant and for my turtle, I immediately put water in it and put it in storage, and then I put it on my inventory. Okay, so let's say that, now my kids don't like drinking the tap water either, but we do run it through like a Brita filter, and they will drink that. So all my water I run through a Brita filter, and then I put it in storage. And then what I do is every time that we need water, I take the one that's the oldest and I replace that with a new one. So I'm always constantly not only replacing, but I'm also adding to, so that I'm not only keeping what I already had and replacing what I used, but I'm adding more to it. Yeah, I will get to a point where I can't add any more. And in another video, I will show you how to store plastic jugs so that you can keep those for future use if you do run out of space for storing water. So just keep those things in mind, and don't be afraid to find out all you can about water. Don't be afraid of storing it. It is, you do have to be careful, but don't be afraid of it. Make sure that you are finding out the facts and following up on that, and learning how to use a live straw or a filter system. Make sure you're doing it correctly. That's the most important thing. And store as much as you can. Learn about resources of water around you, because let's say that you've used up all your stored water and you need more water. That's when you go out and you look for resources for water. So learn about that kind of stuff. And we'll talk about that more much later. That's kind of one of those things that you kind of need to learn about a little further into prepping. But for now, prep your water. Don't be afraid of it. Don't let it overwhelm you. Just every time you get a jug or you go to the store, buy you another jug and stick it in your storage. Okay? All right, you have a nice day, and I'll talk to you later. Bye.